Greetings to Earthly Mother, Heavenly Father, angels, big bro, all the tribes. Notice I didn't say races. DH8donthate. Again, read it for yourself. But we're going to do some Israelite DNA testing to see if you are Israelite today. A lot of people already know who they are, Israelites, but some still out there don't know. So we're going to do the DNA test. This DNA test is free of charge. You ain't got to give no blood up or no spit sample behind your gums or whatever. We're going to go straight to the work. But first of all, you have to realize, if your ancestors are slaves, then 9 times out of 10, you are Israelite. So let's just get started. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. We can go to a whole bunch of scriptures, but Deuteronomy 28 kind of just sums it up. It starts about 15 with the curses. And if black people didn't realize they are cursed at this time, then you living in the twilight zone or the outer limits, because your last name is a slave name. And that slave name, that is not your original name that the heritage of your people had. You were not European. So if you still have your slave name, you're still a slave. So why come they don't help us get our names changed if we truly have freedom? So just make you think. But Deuteronomy 28, I'm just going to hit and miss. Deuteronomy 28 and 29. You should be groping at noon as a blind man gropes in darkness and not prosper in your ways. And you should be only oppressed and plundered all the days with no one to save you. Look at all the leaders that's come along that's been killed. I could name a whole bunch of them, the revolts, everything. But nobody has been able to save us out of this mess. Nobody. So we have had no savior, no redeemer, no nothing. Still had the last names, like I said, and everything. So that's the first one of the DNA test. If you black folk, we ain't been saved out of this mess. Neither in the Caribbeans, everywhere. We haven't been saved. We still in it. And they still taking us over in Libya. So do your math. All right. Deuteronomy 28, verse 32. Your sons and your daughters are given to another people, and your eyes look and fail for them all day long, your hand powerless. So if you just go back to history, you know, when we came over here as slaves, people had babies, and those babies was taken from them. And their eyes longed for them all day. They were taken into captivity, taken into the master's home to do whatever, you know, sickening, you know. And so there's another DNA test. If your family members can trace back and you can remember and you can do some history, or you look at TV or YouTube, you're going to find out that this is what happened to us right over here and all in the islands and around the world. You know, our children, when we had them, got taken away from us. Verse 35. Your knees, your legs, gonna have boils which are unable to be healed, sole of your foot to the top of your head. Basically, that means you working down the dust on your knees, on your feet, and the person that's working you in this slavery ain't got no mercy on you, and you can't get rid of the calluses and the boils, and from working so hard, working you to death. That's what they're saying. And so just look back into history. Do your history check. That was us. We built this country. This is what made America great. This is what made the world great. Free slave labor. All right. Verse 36. You should bring your sovereign, your king, whom you appoint over you, to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known, and there shall they serve other mighty ones, wood and stone. Well, back east, our fathers knew every land of people over there. There was only one place that didn't exist yet, or a few other places. One was America, and the other places were some of the Caribbean islands. But over there, our fathers knew all the languages, all the people, because if you look at some of my other segments, we were mixing. Shamites dwelt with Hamites. Hamites mixed with Japhites and went into Shamites' land. We were well aware of language, cultures, and everything, and tribes. And so the only thing that wasn't known yet was the Europeans, who were still in the Dark Ages, who hadn't came up yet as a power. And so, that was the only thing unknown. Our fathers didn't know those languages. Now this here, the English and all of that. And so, and then the things that we serve, the wood cross, the marble and the stone Jesus, the things that we worship that wasn't here yet, that Rome eventually brought into play. So that's the wood and stone. You shall be an astonishment, a proverb, and a mockery among all people. A proverb is the nicknames we call each other. Well, before we was calling each other nicknames, they had some nicknames for us. And y'all know what they are. We've been called every ridiculous type of word. We went from niggers to Negroes to Afro-Americans, African Americans, and the names in between that, boy, anything you could think of, we would call. Just look at history, because you're going to find out that those proverbs and that embarrassment, that astonishment has been us. So you got to look into this deep, folks, because this is your DNA testing. Take the blinders off your heart, your mind, and your spirit. It is you. So let's come over here to, let's go down to 41. Bring forth sons, you may bring forth sons and daughters, but they are not with you, for they go into captivity. Again, there's a captivity. So it's twice in the same chapter. So it's trying to say, hint, hint. You remember when y'all came over here and we separated the families and sent them to different plantations and all of that? Okay, what other culture people has been done like that since 1619 and going through systematic slavery and all this stuff now, 2019, 400 years, Genesis 13, verse 15, the Abrahamic prophecy of his seed. Look it up. So now let's go, even the sojourner who is among you rises higher and higher above you, but you come down lower and lower. Look at little Mexico towns, little Korean towns, little China towns, what the Arabics are doing, the Hindus, when they come over here, they rise higher than we do. Well, they didn't come over in chains on slave ships in complete slavery from day one. They came over here for work, for business. They came over here of their own free will. We didn't. So there you go. More DNA testing proven. This is free. All right, let's go up here. You shall serve your enemies, verse 48. You shall serve your enemies whom the Most High sends against you in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in need of all. And he will put a yoke of iron on your neck. Again, look at history. The yokes of iron that were put around our neck, our kids, the hands, the metal plates that used to cover our faces and mouths. They have it in a museum now, so you can go check it out and see that all this stuff that Deuteronomy 28 said way before it happened, not only happened here, but it happened in all captivities. But this has been the worst captivity. The captivity of 1619 to 2019, along with the Caribbean captivities and other captivities that happened way before 1619. 1492 with the Spanish Inquisition is when the horrific stuff really started happening. But you can go back to 70 AD, what Vespasian and Titus did to us, chasing us out of Israel into Africa. So do your history. Let's go to verse 49. He will bring a nation against you from afar off, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose language you shall not understand. Eagle flies. The Romans had an eagle as their symbol. The same symbol that the Russians have. The same coat of arms that Rome had, Russia has. The same eagle that America has. So see how this captivity thing, see how history's been repeating itself because we won't obey the Most High. We keep being in disobedience. So history keeps repeating itself, and they keep coming with this eagle as a symbol. Look at it. It's on the back of the money. Yeah, that precept the money with this scripture. You'll see. Okay, so now let's go into okay, and they shall eat, verse 51, eat the fruit of your livestock and the fruit of your land until you are destroyed. They leave you no grain, nor new wine, nor oil, nor increase of your cattle offspring. That's why we was eating chitlins, pig feet, everything left over that they didn't want. They gave it to us, and that's all we had to eat. Barely gave us housing. When so-called emancipation happened, we were sent out with nothing, became homeless, vagrant, vagabond. So here it is. Here it is. We had nothing. And today still, everybody has nothing because if you don't pay your taxes, they'll take it off. So taxation is the new slavery. Everybody getting a part of this one. All right, let's go on. Let's jump over here because we done proved a lot of the DNA testing, what's going on. Let's look at what happened to the women up here. The tender and the delicate woman among you who have not tried to put the sole of her foot on the ground because of her delicateness and tenderness, her eye is evil against the husband of her bosom, and against her son, and against her daughter, and against her seed, which comes out from between her legs and her children. Okay, basically, they turned us against each other. Go read the Willie Lynch theory, and you can precept that right there. That's why we killing each other today. So-called black-on-black crime, but other races kill they people too. But since they focus on ours so much, well, this is the reason why. Because they turned us against each other. Old against young, mother against father, the man against the woman. That's why the system will take care of the woman and leave the man to fend for himself. She can go get insurance, food stamps, all kind of beautiful stuff, and the system wants to take care of her. And but here's what's happened. You see these women that cuss out their children and talk crazy to their children and try to beat their children half to death. See, this is our tender and delicate women have turned hard. And this is what we're seeing nowadays. So we got to come out of this, y'all. But this is to show the DNA testing that we are the people because we're under these curses and doing this foolishness. Okay, let's go down here. And the Most High shall scatter you among all people from one end of the earth to the other. What other people has been scattered to all people from one end of the earth to other? Black people, y'all. Black people. Not necessarily Africans. They were still over in their country. But it was them people that ran out of Israel that ran into Africa. Yeah. 1747 map, I believe, where you can find the kingdom of Judah now existing in Africa because they was fleeing from Rome. And they took all the sub-Saharan in the south and the west and tried to hide. Still have tribes over there that have DNA from Israel that has been proven. And now the Zionists are looking like, oh, well, who are they? Well, they're the real Israelites, our ancestors over in Africa who didn't get captured like we did and sent to all people all around the world. So no other race of people has that been done to but us. So there's your DNA testing. You don't have to spend big money on it. Just come and read this. So now let's go down to 65. And among those nations, you are to find no rest, nor have resting place for the sole of your foot. but there you shall give you a trembling heart and a failing eyes and sorrow of being. How many people still today is kind of scared to drive through some states in the dark where all that bush is? You're kind of uncomfortable. I know I am, and I'm not scared of too much. But who's in these bushes and leaves? Yeah, let me hurry up and get to the city where the lights is on and we can see some stuff. Yeah, okay. Now, 66. And your life shall be hanging in suspense before you, and you shall fear day and night and not be certain of your life. That's why my people had their own side, because we were segregated anyway. Because if you went to the other side, you might come up missing on a tree. Yeah, it's still kind of happening, so I'm just, this is the word. This is the word. This is what the word said. So let's knock this nail in the head. Now, chapter 68. It shall bring you back to Mizraim, to Egypt in ships, by way of which he said to you, you are never to see it again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one to buy you. See, it's not talking about that Egypt, because we had already come out of that Egypt. So it's talking about another Egypt that we would be taken to in boats. You didn't have to have a boat to get to the Egypt over there, but you had to have a boat to get to the Americas and the Caribbeans and all of that. So this is us. We came over here in chains. And then we have had no redeemer, as it said in the previous scripture that we read, to buy us back. We have been in complete slavery for almost 400 years now. So even to know that you're Israel is just to know that that's your heritage. So don't get all puffed up, humble, and high and mighty because your disobedience got you in this trouble. Because you wanted to be like Gentiles. We wanted to be like Gentiles in every captivity. So now we want to talk about, they blue devils and all this. But we acted like them. That's why we got in the trouble. We took on their ways, their pagan practices. And when you go to Jeremiah 9:25, I'm going to read it to you quick and we're going to end on this. Jeremiah 9:25, it says, Mizraim and Yehuda and Edom and the children of Ammon and Moab and all those trimmed on the edges who dwell in the wilderness, for all the Gentiles are uncircumcised and all the house of Israel are uncircumcised in heart. So basically, Mizraim is Ham. Yehuda is Israel. Edom is Japhites. Children of Ammon and Moab, those are our brothers. So he's basically saying that then you got Israel uncircumcised. If you're uncircumcised in the heart, he's finna get everybody. So they gotta tell you that because it's your heritage to be Israel, don't mean he ain't gonna get you if you in wickedness and disobedience. So the catch is to get out of that, to know your heritage and get out of that and become sons and daughters of light, not believers, not Christianity, not any religion, a non-denomination, a denomination, but to gravitate back to the light in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3 to Genesis chapter 2, verse 1 and 2. And just put light in your search engine and you'll find out that we are supposed to be children of light because everything came from that and all the laws are written into living things, not dead pages on books. So precept this with life to make sure it's right. Much love. DNA testing free. You might be Israelite if you fall up under any of these. Love y'all. Sabbath day is coming. Happy Sabbath. Happy Passover and unleavened bread coming, which should be coming in a couple of weeks. Today is April 6th. So Passover, unleavened bread. April 6, 2018, Passover and unleavened bread is coming in a couple weeks. This is the year of the 13th moon, 358. Thank you, H Nk Amariel, Stick of Ephraim, Ezekiel 37 prophecy over in the real Jerusalem, Telluride. Appreciate you, man. We following you. We love you. You ain't weird to us. People think we weird. But we following you, man. You got truth. School of the prophets. I want my year or two out there with you. I want to learn the things that you know, man. You 50 years in. Love you. Love all y'all. We'll see you again. I'll come back with some more. I ain't finished. To be continued. DH8, don't hate.